Repeatedly heaving a heavy, loaded bike over boulders up mountains doesn't exactly top my list of what's fun. The bike is awkward. The air is thin. My scrawny biker's upper body fatigues quickly. But then there's the payoff. Amazing views. Unbelievably abundant wildflowers. Wildlife sightings. And getting to share all of this with my good friend Traci. Here's the story of our 3 days on Colorado's Vapor Trail. Today we'd climb out of Salida on paved paths and local roads before reaching the gravel roads of San Isabel National Forest. Those would deliver us to the Colorado Trail. On the CT, we'd navigate up and over the lower ridges of Mount Shavano, Mount White, and Mount Antero before reaching the narrow gauge trail, which hugs the north side of Chalk Creek Canyon. Finally, we'd pedal the final miles on a wide dirt road to the Iron City campground. As quietly as possible, we wheeled our rigs out of a full bunk room at the Salida hostel early on a Thursday morning, wanting to get a jump on the day. After a stop for breakfast burritos at the Black Dog Cafe, Traci and I headed out. Just got a breakfast burrito, and we are ready to go. Oh, you're okay. I enjoyed watching the transition from human-impacted landscapes to wild landscapes as we climbed away from town. The mountains ahead of us eclipsed the effort of pushing feet on pedals. We admired a wide open prairie, surrounded by mountains and overflowing with sage, cardinal flowers, lupines, bluebells, and more. I think it hit us both right then. This wasn't an ordinary day back at home. We were working hard, but this work was by choice. And just look where that hard work was getting us. We are nearing the Colorado trailhead, and we've been climbing for 3 full hours so far, and I feel like I've been in 170 heart rate zone pretty much the whole day. The Colorado Trail portion. Colorado Trail! Yay! The full Colorado Trail traverses 567 miles between Denver and Durango. And while we would travel just 12 miles of this rugged backcountry route, we would quickly become acquainted with both its beauty and its challenging nature. Of the few pedally parts on the Colorado Trail, I'm enjoying the speed of recovery. At times, the trail is rideable and fast. Do you want me to hold your bike? Frequently, the trail dips down to a stream, only to steeply ascend away from it. In the early afternoon, storms started to roll in quickly. The sound of thunder activated a bonus fear gear in me that propelled my tired body forward. It wasn't enough to escape the hail that started to fall on us. I struggled to get my rain gear on quickly. Unrattled, Traci seemed to revel in the dramatic turn of events. Ten minutes ago it was hailing. Reaching the top of one hike-a-bike, we celebrated with a snack and some photos before rushing to get off the mountain before the next storms hit. An equal opportunity trail, even the descents got in on the hike-a-bike action. Our moods lifted immediately each time the trail became rideable. We glided gleefully through the trees, enjoying some true mountain biking, the sport that brought us together as friends. As we descended, we noticed that the landscapes reversed from tall aspens and pines to prairie and woody shrubland once again. Around mile 20, we encountered a steep downhill switchback section of trail that got us off our bikes and hiking again. There's two ways of getting down a mountain. Quickly and slowly. I think this is the quick method. Whew. Holy moly. Reaching the narrow gauge trail brought mixed emotions for me. 2 years ago, when I rode the Vapor Trail with friends Carrie and Kathleen, we had camped along a stream here. By now it was late in the afternoon, and Traci and I had been riding since 8:30 a.m. Part of me was longing to stop, but I knew that stopping now would make it that many more miles I'd need to complete the next day. We pushed on. The views from the narrow gauge trail were incredible, riding right next to the cliffs and above Chalk Creek. Soon we reached Forest Road 162, a wide gravel road that runs right next to Chalk Creek. From here we had a 7.5 mile climb at an average 3% grade until our campground. On day 2, we'd visit the St. Elmo ghost town before climbing on Forest Road 295 towards Hancock Pass. We'd sample a bit of the Tunnel Lake Trail before climbing Hancock Pass. From there, we'd head up our second mountain pass of the day, Tomichi, from which we'd descend slightly and start climbing again on the Canyon Creek Trail. Finally, we'd double back to Forest Road 888 and descend to the snowblind campground. In 7.5 hours, we'd covered just 22 miles, a testament to just how slow-going today would be. Founded in 1880, the town of St. Elmo formed around gold and silver mining. At its peak, the city hosted 2,000 people. The town was a railroad hub for supplies arriving through the famous Alpine Tunnel. Today, the remaining buildings are listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and there's a working general store that's open in the summer months. Watching the calliope hummingbirds was a thrill for this bird nerd. Feeding the local chipmunks is also popular here. A sign posted in town alerted us that our intended route on the Alpine Tunnel Trail is closed for construction due to rock slides in the Palisades section. The staff inside the general store provided us with an alternate route through Hancock Pass. The road to Hancock Pass was wide and scenic, but the constant 4% climb at over 10,000 feet of elevation kept our pace slow. We stopped along the way to view remnants of the historic Mary Murphy mine, including part of an old tramway that carried ore down the hillside. Also along the way, I was ecstatic to find an entire hillside blooming with columbines. Seeing columbines in bloom was a big reason for me reriding this route. As we neared the intersection for Hancock Pass, we made the call to first ride down the open part of Alpine Tunnel Road for a ways, so we could experience at least part of that route.
Nice.
We enjoyed our diversion, but soon turned around to get onto Hancock Pass.
This is Hancock Pass.
Back at Hancock Pass, it was time for a rough and rugged climb. This slow-going and technical trail is also popular for off-road vehicles.
A bit of a slog up Hancock Pass.
In the midst of pushing our bikes, Traci froze. She spotted something. I raced to get my camera out. There beside the trail were a pair of bull moose.
I see two. Do you see more than two? Oh yeah, there's one between the two pine trees. Oh, and then it was all worthwhile.
We approached carefully, knowing that moose can be dangerous. But these guys only cared about eating. I imagine they saw us pushing our bikes and figured we were wounded and therefore not a threat to them. Seeing the moose absolutely elated us. Truly, every pedal stroke, every step of the way had been worthwhile.
There's an elk right there, a female. There's a Traci right there. Heart attack right now. And I believe we're going to be heading up that way next.
We paused at the foot of Hancock's final climb, waiting for a storm to blow by. I took the opportunity to photograph more flowers. Deciding it was safe to continue, we started to hike up the steep pass.
Is it worth it, Katrina? Can't spin all the way that direction. I'll go this way. Storms are skirting us for now, so that's lovely. We're almost to the top of Hancock Pass. Up and over.
Some marmots greeted us at the top, as did a sign marking the Continental Divide. We took a moment to appreciate our achievement before starting the descent. Partway down, we noticed a collection of OHVs and a lot of people wearing red. Was it a ritual? Turns out it was, of sorts. It was a wedding. We are going up there. And we just had a lunch sitting on these nice rocks. There's Traci. At the base of the next climb, we met another group of OHV riders.
Gang. They were super nice and they gave us a Dr. Pepper. I'm
Very excited about that. Nice people. Climbing. And then it was time for Tomichi Pass, our next big hike-a-bike of the day. Another marmot kept us entertained along the way. The surface became a bit more rideable as we neared the top. Traci and I invented a game where we'd set a goal to ride to and see if each of us could make it. It helped to focus our efforts. And suddenly, we were at the top of our second mountain pass of the day. In 2022, we descended the pass on Forest Road 888 in order to trim some distance off what was our third day's ride. This year, Traci and I aspired to take the original route, which continues climbing to the highest point on the course. And once again, we were hiking our bikes up a mountain.
I had to lift the front end up really hard. You need a hand? I think I was on my hands and knees at one point. Help. Oh, nothing like hoisting a loaded bike.
It might be slow. I got the back end.
Put the camera away?
Yeah. I need to do that. Just 0.2 of a mile from the summit, the trail became extremely steep and exposed. We knew it would take us a while to ascend. Another storm was rolling in, so we made the call to double back and descend on 888. Spicy, go down the middle here. It was a thrilling, rainy, and rocky descent down the mountain. True mountain biking. At times, the road became part of a stream that entered to one side and exited to the other further down. One stream was so deep that my feet became completely submerged when I pedaled. Yes. We descended for a long time until finally reaching the Snowblind Forest Service campground. In all, we were moving in one form or another for 8 hours today. It was all amazing. On day 3, we descend to the base of Monarch Pass, then climb 2,400 feet to the summit. From there, we'd continue climbing on the Monarch Crest Trail for nearly 1,000 more feet in elevation until we started to descend, first on single track and then down Marshall Pass. We'd explore O'Haver Lake Campground until settling on a wild campsite along Starvation Creek. Quick descent, and then we start our very long climb up Monarch Pass. And it's a beautiful day. Amazingly, we managed to pack up and get on the road by 8:30 this morning. Our stuff was damp with condensation, so my socks and shorts had to hitch a ride on my front bag this morning to dry out. With sunny skies, it wouldn't take long. Soon we were starting our climb up Monarch Pass. The first part was the steepest. Luckily, I found my climbing legs today, and we were able to pedal up the pass with just a few stops along the way.
2.5 hours and still climbing.
Traci willed the clouds to move around us, and this time it worked. We reached the top of Monarch Pass before the rain hit. We descended just a quarter mile until we verged onto the Colorado Trail, which we'd taken till the visitor center at the junction with Highway 50.
This is the Monarch Crest Trail before we get to the visitor center. We missed it last time. It's very pretty.
The trail was beautiful, but the punchy climbs were tough on our tired legs.
Uh-oh.
It started to hail just as we reached the visitor center. We enjoyed the shelter as we refueled on their meager lunch offerings. While we were dining, we were reminded of how dangerous it could be to get caught off guard with the weather. A teen boy riding a mountain bike had come in just minutes after us, but was shivering terribly from the hailstorm and sudden drop in temperature. Traci and I had a policy to always stop and put on our rain gear at the first sign of rain. The Monarch Crest Trail is an IMBA epic, a designation that denotes a true backcountry single-track experience that's at least 20 miles long. Mountain bikers from around the world shuttle to the top of Monarch to ride the trail and take in the views. We felt fortunate to be here. The initial single-track descent was a little spicy on our loaded bikes, but mostly the trail wasn't too technical. At times, the undergrowth was so thick it looked like a rainforest. Just before recording this clip, I saw a large bull moose standing in the trail.
He was huge. There he is. Heading down Marshall Pass, we're gonna go to O'Haveron Campground.
We descended without pedaling down Marshall Pass. Last year, I pedaled up this road on the Great Divide mountain bike route. It was so cool to see it again. O'Haver Lake Campground was full, so we found a wild camp spot along Starvation Creek to spend our last night. It was a cool spot, but the locals were a little messy, so we'd have to move our tents before calling it a night. Just over 14 miles from town, we'd bike back to Salida, all downhill, the following morning in time for breakfast. The last few days on Colorado's Vapor Trail were physically challenging, but pain fades fast, and in its place is the memory of an incredible adventure.
And then it was all worthwhile.
Of beautiful sights, of the knowledge that I can do hard things, and thanks to some good old Mother Nature trauma bonding, an even stronger friendship than when we started. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps me out a lot. Also, I read and respond to all of your comments, so please feel free to ask questions if you have them. Thanks!